Hello and welcome to the latest episode of yet another Arsenal podcast. I am Mark and I am here with Anfield 89 veteran Richard. How you doing, Rich?
Okay. Yeah.
It's a new experience. This is the first edition where we have to pick out the bones of a defeat.
Yes.
And a defeat against our manager I really, really don't like. I know some people have got sort of maybe not fond is the right word, of Unai Emery. I will listen to arguments that he's a decent enough bloke who got a bit of a bum rap, but I didn't want him as Arsenal manager beforehand. I didn't like him when he was there, and now he keeps on beating us, so I still don't like him.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I mean, lovely guy. Yeah, nothing against him personally. I didn't like his managerial style, and I don't even more when they take 3 points off us.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he is a bit of an enigma, Unai. But I'll tell you why I didn't want him, is because when we were looking post-Wenger, I knew that we needed the sort of culture shift that Arteta has brought. And I actually thought Arteta was going to do it, and I thought they were going to appoint him, and they didn't. And I'll tell you why I didn't want him, is because we had an away problem at the time. You know, people picking and choosing which games they wanted to play, and going away was a nightmare, and one of the reasons why we weren't doing what we wanted to do. And we appointed someone who, A, had gone an entire season with Valencia without winning an away game, had been manager of Paris Saint-Germain and got done 6-1 at Barcelona when 5-1 would have done. And then there was this story where he was giving like little thumb drives to players to watch in their spare time about throw-ins and all that. And he suspected that one of his players wasn't watching them. And so he gave him a blank one and said, "Let me know what you think." And he said, yeah, I watched it. It was fine. But now that is quite a funny story. But I find it, if true, a passive-aggressive, cowardly way of approaching things. Now, it may have changed, of course, over the years. It may not be true. But I decide that I want to believe it because it just plays into the brand of him. So I am saying all this to convey my deep irritation of not only dropping 3 points, but dropping 3 points to him.
I mean, to be fair, it's well known that he holds 3 to 4 hour video review sessions with the squad. I mean, players.
I don't mind that though. I mean, there's no reason why to get paid enough fucking money just sit there and watch telly for 4 hours.
I suppose. Yeah. It was what I was worried about.
Yeah. Now I am going to declare that I didn't actually watch the game. I was, due to elite netball, that's not even a joke, that is the reason why I did not watch the game, but I did listen to it on the radio. So what I thought I would do is give my impressions of how the game was going through the radio, which is always a difficult job because you never quite know how dangerous, a ball flashes past the box, your heart's in your mouth, but in reality there's no danger whatsoever. So it was Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce were the commentators. And the first thing that Pearce said in the first 10 or 15 minutes was how much he was enjoying the referee's performance because he was letting a lot of things go. Now, to my mind, that is code for Arsenal being kicked up in the air. They don't like it up them.
I wouldn't say it was that. I just think it was putting myself in Pearce's shoes, and I'm a fan of Stuart Pearce. I think it was more of an old-fashioned blood and thunder football game where it was. I mean, my notes from the game. I put a high-tempo battle was the first thing I wrote down.
Yeah, so well, it did not sound comfortable for a start. I mean, I'm never comfortable listening to this stuff on the radio, and I'm not even comfortable when I'm watching it and they're in total control. So, the impression that I got was that it wasn't, it was everything that we feared it might be. And the fact that he had picked a side with Marino up front after all the running that he's done. That was a surprise to me. The Ben White-Timber partnership was not. Eze on the left when Trossard was on the bench, that was interesting. And also, I think, a nice little glimpse of what Eze and Odegaard could be in the same team. Although the fact he got taken off at half-time and seems to be at fault for the goal, despite scoring one himself that was actually chalked off, didn't seem to work.
No, the left-hand side... It was a topic I was going to bring up because I think it might be a little bit controversial, and funnily enough, as I spoke to you the other day, it was something that was screaming out to me. Second half was better, but it was screaming out to me during the first half. Not that it's a problem, but I think it's an evolution of the team issue we have at the moment. It was one of those games. He wasn't in the game. It just didn't seem dynamic enough, and yet he knew he made a mistake for the goal as well. He just didn't. He dithered for a second. Should I track back? You do it in this Arsenal team. You don't think. You're never going to be told off for being too defensive or marking a man. But listen, I think he's a fantastic player. He's got to learn that system, got to learn our system. And we've got two players that have had a long time in this system on the left-hand side who understand how to do that job instinctively. But it was probably his poorest performance in an Arsenal. Was
it a deserved hooking, do you think? Was it punishment for that oversight, or was it a more...
It was just an anonymous first half. It was just anonymous. When he had, I think it was something like 13 touches of the ball.
Yeah.
But then again, and I'm just going to have to go in and say it, and I'm a little bit concerned about Odegaard and what he's doing.
Yeah, now I was waxing lyrical about Odegaard in the previous episode, and my view of him is informed by how other players treat him. He is the technical leader of that team. But the criticism is, and maybe you can expand on this, is that he's getting involved deeper where he's got no need to.
Bingo. I do not want to see him, listen to me like Army's man, when we evolve every season. We evolved past Zinchenko's and players like that. Odegaard, we haven't evolved past him. That's not what I'm saying. His game has to evolve.
Yeah.
There is no need for him to be picking the ball up off the centre half and standing next to Zubimendi multiple times. Zubimendi is there for that role, and guess what? He's as good, if not better, at doing that than Odegaard. And when he's going forwards, I know he's on the ball. You don't need 8 touches every time. 8, 9, 10 touches, and it's still right-hand side biased. And I think that's contributed towards Eze's poor performance because of the amount of low touches. He just needs... Don't get me wrong, he was better in the second half. He had a fantastic shot, which I'm not sure if it was going in, but it was very close, that Martinez finger tipped over the bar, which was lovely to see. But there are too many times when he's getting on the edge of the box and he plays it out to play. It's that horseshoe again.
Yeah,
and it stems from him. It's less dynamic at the moment, and he's coming too deep and doing too much that he doesn't need to be doing anymore. We have players there that can do a lot of the stuff he's trying to do.
All right, let me present a possible argument, which I may or may not believe, that is told to do that by Arteta to create an overload, if that's the right term, early. So him and Zubimendi are both options deep for our centre-halves. And they are options that he's doing it because our centre-half pairing at the moment of Timber and Nkapie either aren't as good or aren't trusted or not instructed to find those passes. So what he'll do, it'll be Zubimendi and Odegaard at the base of midfield with Eze, Rice, Saka, whoever's playing up front, ahead of him to find. Could that be? Could that be? I don't know. I mean, obviously, I didn't see the game. And when your forward player pops up there, it's really noticeable that he's doing it. Like when Kane does it, he's done it for years, Kane. And Bayern Munich at the moment, everyone's saying what a brilliant tactic it is. But in the more stodgy England performances, it's been annoying because you got no one stretching it. You think, why do you want Kane there? So maybe it's like that evolution of football that we're seeing where, your fullbacks go and play up front and your number 10 goes and gets the ball off the centre. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a tactic. I'm just presenting something because I don't think there's much freelancing in this Arsenal side.
It was notable. It was noticeably less in the second half. I agree with what you're saying. Yep, it could be to give a little bit of assistance to the two centre halves, but you're standing next to Zubimendi. There's no pressure. You get out of his space, get out of each other's space.
Yeah.
It just seemed a little bit right-hand biased again. He's just come back into the side. It just stood out. It just stood out to me.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. I think it is a strange decision, whether that's from Arteta or Odegaard, to do that. And maybe he's just over, and as you said, he seemed to be instructed not to do it in the second half, but he is overly aware of his role as leader and then gets involved in stuff that he shouldn't be, with no one to tell him on the pitch, get out of my space.
Yeah, it was, don't get me wrong, it was a frustrating game where it became a basketball game. It was end to end. Defensively, the least secure I've seen us this season, but I would say we're down to our fifth centre-half option, as good as a player he is. You've got players out there who clearly look shattered. I mean, Rice, I know everyone can clearly see my man crush for him. He was fantastic, but was physically dragging himself through that game.
Yeah, but he did create a chance in the last minute still, didn't he? But let's not go ahead too quickly. So the thing that came through on the radio that Villa were doing, which is something that I think has all but disappeared from football, which is the through ball. They were playing, and so what was that an area of concern for you? What was causing that, do you think?
I think it was a good tactic from Emery. He knows how high we like to push our fullbacks. One is rusty, one is clearly fatigued, and they exploited that. I think with our normal back four, it wouldn't be so much of a tactic, because there's a great partnership between Big Gabby, Calafiori. There was a lot coming down that side, just because of the way Calafiori plays. Unfortunately, when you have a player as unique as he has, there's going to be your odd defensive issue, which is minimised when you've got one of the best centre halves in the world next to him. You've got a young player who I really like, potentially contributed towards the fault for the second goal, but it was chaos in that box. But just not experienced. That partnership's not yet there, and I just think they know they've got players that can get forward quickly. I'm a big fan of Morgan Rogers. I think he was excellent in there, and really gave us a lot to think about. And they had a game plan, and they worked it well. They knew we were tired. They knew we were light on numbers, and every team sets up a game plan, and it was one that worked. You could see we were a bit.
Yeah, Tielemans was a name that was mentioned a lot on the radio. He seemed to be on the ball a lot and put those. Maybe that's kind of his game. I mean, when I think about Villa, just generally, that they're a side that going to Villa Park, it's going to be difficult, but it's a winnable game. I think all our games are winnable. But if you look at their lineup, I think you'd take any of their players, would you? Or not? Or is there someone like, all right, you've Matty Cash is probably not as good as Timber, despite the fact he opened the scoring. But if they said we're paying 30 million for Matty Cash, that wouldn't be a mental decision, would it? Any of their midfielders, Onana, Tielemans, even John McGinn, like he's not a very stylish footballer, but he's quite effective. And you can say that about lots of their players, Rodgers included.
Yeah. If you said to me you were adding, I mean, Tielemans, we were linked for ages with Onana and Tielemans.
Yeah.
And there were the usual paper rumours about Rodgers. I wouldn't be unhappy with any. Again, that's Matty Cash or like a John McGinn come on and play cup games and, Champions League dead rubbers. I would be, they are a good unit. They are a good unit. And I think they've had...
Well, look at their league position, and their home form is unbelievably good, which I think has been overlooked in this.
20.
Yeah. They've won. I think they've won 7 out of 8 or something like that. It's not a place that gives away points very easily.
No.
Bet Man City turn them over though. Fucking Emery.
They've been beaten by Villa already this season. Haven't they? That was I'm not sure where that was, but you could see. It's one of those games where I know we've always got it at the moment when we're nervous about everything because we're top of the league, but I just had that sense we really weren't in control. Don't get me wrong, we had some good moments. Saka, White and Odegaard combined really well as the
and all three of them had shots that ended up being a bit powder puff, didn't they? That they could have done better with.
Shooting was a bit like the shooting of a couple of seasons ago. We had a few of those chances. The one major moment for me was Odegaard. It was a superb shot, and is either dipping under the bar or was going to clip it. And Martinez, as we've discussed, made a great save.
Yeah, he's not bad for his massive dickheadness. He's not a bad goalie.
No.
And then he's got a bit of the Emery chip on his shoulder against us as well.
Yeah, he does.
But sometimes he lets it get the better of him, but not on this occasion. I'm sure he was acting the complete walloper all the way through the game.
There was a moment in the second half where there was a through ball that Saka chased, and he had to chase it. A glancing blow would be very generous on Martinez. And I thought, this could be the world's first case of a spinal replacement. I mean, the way he was rolling. But listen, you're 1-1 at the time against a team at the top of the league. You are a world-class shithouse. Expect no difference. And yeah, that was what it was. But we making the change for. It's interesting. We were talking about Eze. I'd love to know what Arteta's thinking was, because clearly Trossard only had. He didn't even have a half in him.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he was great when he came on. He was great.
Yeah, go ahead.
And he's just captain it. I know we get frustrated with him, don't we? When he shuffles inside, he's captain end product. He's like Freddie Ljungberg.
Yeah. I mean, that does sort of assuage the frustration when he pops up with a goal. And so so the subs. I think Marino, was he just out of it?
It wasn't his game. It wasn't. Listen, he has done magnificently for us.
Yeah.
But there's too many minutes in those legs, as it is with so many of our players. I think he's got the second most minutes in the team. Yeah. It's just, he looked leggy. Leggy. Rice looked leggy. Zubimendi looked leggy. Calafiori was clinging on for dear life at the end of it. There's a lot of minutes in a lot of key players, and you could see it. I think that was the pinnacle. Without the injuries, I'm confident we'd have come away with something, whether it be a point or 3. But the combination of the two was just too big a mountain to climb.
And when the subs were made, Gyökeres and Trossard came on. My impression is that we immediately took control of the game. I don't know whether that was true, and it reminded me a lot of the way that we played the second half against Sunderland. And also a little bit the way that we reacted to going 1-0 down against Chelsea. Trossard comes up with a goal pretty early on in the half, and my thought was, right, 1-1. And it's also my view of Emery, where he gets a game plan off them. One of the things that I don't like about him is that he gets a game plan, it works, and then he seems to throw it in the bin at half time.
Yeah. But they were still dangerous. We controlled the game better. Every time they broke, my heart was in my mouth.
Yeah.
Kins looked the brightest. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of him this season. I know he had a tough start to the season and has improved the last 5-6 weeks. They made some good chances. There were a couple of decent saves from Raya, some that were flashed past the post. They were creating chances. I think it was something like 43 touches in our box.
Yeah, that's really unusual. I think we actually lost the XG battle as well, which for the first time in ages.
We lost the XG battle, and Jules, we were second best to virtually all.
Yeah, that's very unusual, isn't it? We know the fogging standards when it comes to Jules. That is something that Arteta does not like. And so we're in control-ish, it seems. But from listening to it, I felt like they had the better chances, which the numbers. And do you think that was the horseshoe as well? Was there a bit of horseshoeness going on there?
There was, and there's another problem that I'd like to talk about, and that is Victor Gyökeres.
Yeah. I did not hear his name a lot.
I think he had 7 touches. There was a lot of... Listen, I know it sounds a bit old school, but if you're coming back and you're trying to play yourself into form, there are still things you can do. And when I see a big centre forward, when a ball's being played up to him, get a nudge in the back and throw himself to the floor, and it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous, and the game just going around him. I'm thinking, mate, you're not doing much else. You can just be big and awkward and win that ball.
Yeah, They actually pointed that out on the radio, actually.
Oh, did they?
They said that was a foul you might get in Portugal. You will not get in the Premier League.
It wasn't a foul. It was never a foul. It was a centre half getting close to a centre forward, closing the yardage. It didn't even hard.
There's a moment. This is the sort of weird things that stick in your mind. When Denis Suarez made his debut for Arsenal, right? He came on, I think, the last 5 minutes or something at Man City. And I think the game had already been lost. Suarez and Aguero were running to the touchline with a ball, and Aguero sort of used his body for a bit of a shoulder charge, and Suarez crumpled like a straw house in the middle of a tornado. And that was like, sometimes you think it's not going to work for you, because there are some things that are easy to do, and one of them is be as strong as you can. You might not. I saw it. I thought, right, what have you got about you? And the answer in that instance was nothing. You haven't got anything. And that is my concern about Victor Gyökeres, is that not only is he not very good at the things most of our other team players are good at in the team, he's also not very good at the things he's meant to be good at.
I mean, I was shocked. You watch the dreaded YouTube compilations. I'm seeing him, ball over the top, leaving defenders for dead and smashing one in. There was late on, I think probably about 10 minutes to go, we played a ball over the top and he had half a yard on the centre half. My heart rate didn't even go up. He had about 40 yards in front of him. Defender just caught up with him. Nowhere.
Well, that is the problem about signing players from weaker leagues. There's no slow centre halves, I don't think, in the Premier League. Maybe there are somewhere, but in general, they're all really, really quick, maybe. But I'm sure there are some that are on the slow side. But Gyökeres,
it doesn't look quick. It doesn't look quick. When I thought one thing he had was power and speed, and he doesn't seem to have that.
No, and he looks a lump, but he doesn't seem to be strong either.
Yeah.
Like, he's got a really broad, sort of stocky upper body, and yet has he muscled anyone out of the way?
I was at the West Ham game. Was it the West Ham game? I saw him do it. I think I can remember one moment of him going, oh, blimey, that was good. But initially, I want players to do well. Initially, it was like, oh, they're not feeding him. As you said, I remember the Arteta thingy. There may be a reason they're not feeding him.
Yeah. Well, talk about that. So towards the end of the game, we did have a chance that I think Madueke sounded like he nurdled it into the near post.
Side netting, yeah. It was a side netting.
So he had come on for Saka. Was that all right?
Yeah, he did. He came on for Saka. It's difficult because he did. I think it was around about the 80th minute. And some players do just take. It wasn't his best performance in an Arsenal shirt. It was all the things we've discussed. His end product, his decision making. He wasn't the worst player. He was trying to make stuff happen. And Rice has somehow found this energy to get forwards like only he knows how at that later stage. Looking utterly broken, but still getting past people. It's just something that you just can't work out. Beautiful ball across the box. And if I'm being critical, someone with more natural instincts would have gone that little bit quicker to get on the end of it. Don't get me wrong, he's got a defender there, but it was comfortably into the side netting. I mean, he's like halfway down the side of the goal. It wasn't ever remotely looking like it's going.
And then it's a goal kick to them, isn't it? That's the idea. So if you hit it across. But I've seen it, obviously, and one of the things that stands out is Gyökeres is not breaking his neck to get in the box, which is why I am concerned about him. Because if you're asking him to get the ball on the halfway line, beat 3 players and stick it in the top corner, I don't think he's going to do that. But I had hopes against some of the other teams that he's played against that when the ball comes flashing across the 6-yard box, he's going to be there. And he was miles off it. Why? Why was he not hurtling in towards the box? That's why I'm so worried about him and him not being good at the things he's meant to be good at.
Yeah, I have those concerns, and no doubt the club are looking at the numbers, the club are looking at what he's doing. I'm not writing him off totally at the moment. I'm not hopeful, but for what we paid for him, for a striker in this day and age, if they are ruthless, you get most of your money back for him, and you go and invest somewhere else. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. Let's see how the next few months go.
Like he's coming back from injury, but it's just that, as you say, that throwing yourself to the floor when you could be strong.
That's a decision.
Yeah, that is a decision. I'd rather him battle and be hard done by than.
And I've seen him do it. I don't know why he did that.
Well, maybe it's a confidence thing. Maybe he's aware that it's not going his way. You know, I mean, maybe we were reading too much into it. That he felt something. He thought, go down and we'll get a free kick. But he just got it wrong in the context of that game. Calafiori booked, banned for the Wolves game. Lewis Skelly came on. He hadn't really been brilliant, Lewis Skelly, when he came on. I don't think. How did he fare in the hurly-burly of what's going on?
I think that's his kind of game. I was fine with his performance. I think when it's high pace, high tempo like that, I think, as we've said, he's not a left back. In games like that, he doesn't need to think. It's sort of react and give and go, and I think that's better for the way he plays. Yeah, I think it's fine. If Calafiori is going to miss a game, you couldn't pick a better one. Because ultimately, to be perfectly honest, with how he's had a lot of minutes, I don't think he'd have played anyway.
Yeah.
So
was he struggling a little bit? Do you think
he just looked tired? No, he didn't look like he was injured. He just looked like he had nothing left from 70 minutes on, and yet he's still trying to get forwards.
Yeah. Oh, that's the instruction.
Yeah.
I have to say that, of course, the law of sod had a big role to play in their winner, because I think it came about a minute or two after the Madueke side netting.
Yeah.
And what I thought to myself is that that's the end of that then. That's like the end of it. They've got a goal kick and that will be the end of the game. But it wasn't. Why wasn't it? What happened that they... Because it's ended up being a goldmouth scramble.
The panic that was there, Hincapié, as I say, I'm a fan of his, had an opportunity to just get that away. He did it. I think they got tense. There were players sliding in all over the place. I want to sound like I'm getting on his back. Odegaard was standing just in front of it doing the river dance. I don't know what he was doing. Have you seen the video of him doing it? He's just standing there, tip-tap, put a foot in. You're right.
Is that early on in the move or in the box?
When the ball's in the box, he is a yard away from the player, and he's just on the spot, dithering. Put a foot in.
Were they worried about giving away a penalty, do you think?
He's done something. Put your body in the way.
Yeah.
You don't have to put your body in the way. And it was there. You could see there was panic. There were, I'd say, 2 or 3 opportunities for us to do something. It was poor. Poor. And, but the finish, it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a great finish. And I mean, I'm not sure if you've seen the reaction of players.
I have. I was going to ask you about that. Whether, obviously, I'm sure this is meme-tastic, but what is this the sort of thing that is made too much of? It's just like a bit of banter. Because you know what I thought? I went back to Gallas's reaction when we gave away a penalty at Birmingham many years ago, and he sat in a huff on the halfway line, and he had a bit of a tantrum. And that did reflect something, I think, about the mental state of that team.
I think this team's different. I think you're looking at a lot of exhausted players who had to cling on for another 30 seconds, and this happens in football. Yeah. They are still top of the league. Yeah. We have players coming back. I mean, we keep saying that and we keep losing others, but we are now at a period where we can rotate. We have some easier games.
I actually have a optimistic view of it in that we have had quite a difficult run. Yeah. Spurs on paper, Bayern, Chelsea, Brentford, Villa away. That is not an easy run of games. They've done all right. I would say they're probably just below par about what you want. But in the meantime, their rivals and Liverpool have easier games, particularly Man City. Man City have, I know Villa are 3 points behind us, but I expect at some point them to fall away as European commitment. So it looks like Man City. Man City have had a relatively easy run of games, so they've made bloody hard work of it. And I actually feel all right about it as long as the reaction is a good one. Because if you look at other seasons, you get this sort of like concertina effect, especially with like when I had my eye on the Champions League places rather than the top of the league. You'll have a bit of a dodgy run, and then like you were 10 points ahead of fourth, and now you're only 4. But then their good run will come to an end because they're an inconsistent team. And you will get over your little hump a little bit quicker. Let's hope it's in December. And then you'll bring out that lead again. And so let's say it's 7 points. I wouldn't be surprised if we were 7 points clear in January again. That's not a prediction, but that is as Man City's frailties that they seem to have this season catch up with them, and Arsenal's really tough run of fixtures, including the effort they're going to have to put in the Champions League, eases off a little bit. Because Man City got Real Madrid.
Well, I'm literally looking at they've got Real Madrid on Wednesday.
Are they home or away?
Away.
Yeah, away, travel.
Then away at Palace.
Not easy.
Not easy. Then they've got that's on the Sunday. On the Wednesday, they're away. They're at home to Brentford in the Cup quarter-final.
Right, okay, they'll change all their team for that.
Yeah, then they've got West Ham, Forest, Sunderland, then Chelsea, then Brighton, then Man U. They've got up until the middle of January. Let's see where they are then.
Yeah. So we've got Club Bruges this week. It's got to be heavy rotation, hasn't it?
It has to be. I do not want to see Rice in the squad. I would like to.
He'll definitely be in the squad.
He'll be in the squad. I would start. I know listen, we don't need to win this game. Why not go Norgard, Marino? So what?
Yeah.
But Marino's had a load of minutes.
Yeah, but Norgard has not. And it's so easy in, I've said this before, Arteta Siberia. It's a real
Arteta
not trusted at all.
Arteta is. You've seen Meet the Fockers. He's not in the circle of trust.
He's not in the circle of trust. What's the fuck he doing on the bench then? He might as well, I find this amazing. Like, how bad can the Brentford captain, international footballer, experienced Premier League, and he can't get on the pitch? Like when your players are dead. And he's decent in the air as well. I thought we could have done with him at Sunderland. Duels. Surely, if you start losing that, and it's 1-1, and it's last 10 minutes, and you think to yourself, do you know what, fuck this, we'll just get out of here with a draw. What is the worst that can happen by bringing him on? He's not a clown.
No, and you risk breaking one of your crown jewel pieces. That's the thing that concerns me. Looking at the beginning, it's funny how it works out. We think we had plenty of squad depth in the centre of the park. One of them has become our top striker, and the other one is persona non grata. I mean, we're left with two.
Yeah, that is the case, and they are vital to the way that we play as well. They are the real because I don't think they've got equivalent replacements in the way that a lot of our other players have. You look all over. Right, I mean, Saka's output is absolutely phenomenal, but Madueke, for all the frustrations we have with him, not a mug. Trossard, Martinelli, Eze can all play on the left. Marino, Gyökeres, and when they're fit, Havertz, Jesus up front, or maybe even on the right in Jesus' case. There's fullbacks, loads of them. Centre halves, fine, but Zubimendi and Rice, there ain't a lot behind.
That's our point of failure. That is our point of failure, and we need to. I wouldn't. It depends. I'm torn with what to do at the back because if Saliba's fit, do you give him minutes? Do you start Timber?
I think you do. Yeah. I think if he's fit, you play him. He played for 3 weeks. Game on the pitch.
I get Skelly in at left back. I would go Martinelli out on the left. I would go Madueke on the right. Gyökeres. Listen, we've spent a lot of money on these players.
Yeah.
Midfield, Marino, if he played a little bit of a deeper role where he does do so much running, fine. I know he's had a lot of minutes, but it's not as a demanding game as he's been playing in. And play Norgard as well.
Yeah.
Why not make those changes?
He should play. He should play a significant part of that game. I'll bet Rice is on the bench and he'll come on for half an hour, which I've got no problem with.
That's fine.
Problem. All the unused subs have to do stupid sprints afterwards as well. And if you're a footballer, I bet you'd much rather play half an hour than fucking sprint up and doing doggies up and down.
Yeah, but I do some because then it's Wolves at the weekend. If these players get 20 minutes of this in this game, we haven't got to go to the weekend. They'll be a lot fresher than they currently are.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is not the news that we wanted to have a look at, but it's a long old season. They've only lost 2 games, so let's not be too down about it. And we've got probably the best fixture you can have as he box it immediately in the league. Bottom of the league at home.
What have they got? 2 points.
2 points.
Bottom of the league at home. Even there, you can start some of the big guns on the bench.
Yeah, maybe he won't.
Especially with league points. If we had 5, I would be more confident of him tinkering a little bit if we were 5 points clear than 2.
Yeah, no,
I think he'll start with them and get them off.
Yeah, so right, and I think they need to play the match in that. They need to be 3-0 up early for that to happen, to calm the nerves, to make everyone feel like life's better again. Get some fresh legs on, wrap some people in cotton wool, because we got a lot of games in December. We've got a lot of games.
Oh, it's that time of year, and we just need we need to bring Norgard in from the cold. Fingers crossed he can have a good game midweek if he plays. Get some players back, and then we've got some genuine rotation.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's enough of that. Fucking Emery. Until next time, we will see you later. See ya. Bye.
Bye bye.